Hello everyone, this is Coach Angela talking to you today about goal mapping. And I know you're probably thinking, well, what is goal mapping? Well, it's kind of like when you're planning a trip or how to get from point A to point B. You need to know your destination, you need to know how you're going to get there, the cost, the barriers, all the things that it takes to say, for example, to plan a vacation. Okay, let's say you want to go to Hawaii. Okay, you live in New York City. Well, obviously you can't just drive there. So one of the barriers is you will have to fly or take a boat. You can't drive. How much is it going to cost? When do you want to go? That's your time frame. When do you want to get there? Do you have the money? How much money do you need? What will you do in emergency situations? Once you get on the island, how will you navigate around? You have to rent a car. And where do you want to go? What are the places that you want to see? All of these things we do naturally. Let's say if we're trying to find a job or we're trying to go on vacation, we think about all those things that we need or all the things that may hinder us from accomplishing that goal. Well, you use those same principles for any goal, and we call it goal mapping. So if you have your goal already set, which you should by now, that's going to explain the how, what, when, and sometimes, the why or the where. Then you're going to stop and make a list of, you could do it as the pros and cons are a little bit different than your barriers. You can put all of the benefits and all the things that you have going for you, your assets, but then what are the things that may hinder you? And those things may be time, money, knowledge. For example, and I use fitness a lot just because I know people have a fitness goal often. So if you have a fitness goal, it's like, well, are you motivated enough to work out at home? Or are you the type of person that you're more consistent if you work out at a gym? And if you do, then can you afford a gym membership? Do you have transportation to get back and forth to the gym? What time period do you have to go to the gym? Is it convenient enough? Because sometimes people say, oh, well, Planet Fitness is inexpensive. Okay, that's great. Yep, you can pay $10 a month, but the closest Planet Fitness to me is an hour away. That's not realistic. That's not going to happen. Okay, and then you have to think about the gas and everything else. If you have children, you have small children, and you don't have a babysitter, well, then that's an added cost because you can't take your kids to the gym and work out, especially if they're younger children. Some gyms, they do have nursing or childcare available, but those are all things that you need to consider, check and find out. And just also, when I go talk to you about the knowledge, what do you know about fitness? Do you need a personal trainer? Or do you know someone who works out? Or are you just going to do cardio? Have you been to the doctor to get a physical to make sure that you are fit to exercise at that level? Especially like if you're weight training, you have to have the proper form and the know-how to do that, or you can seriously injure yourself. So these are all things that you would have to take in consideration with your goal. If your goal is to, well, I've never been out of the country and I want to plan a trip out of the country. Well, what are your barriers? Do you have a passport? Do you have money for a passport? Do you have any reason why they will not award you a passport? These are things you have to consider. Like, are you on the run from the law? You probably won't get a passport. So, do you have your birth certificate? Do you have all of the credentials that you need to do these things? Where do you want to go? How much does it cost? How are you going to get there? What are the concerns in regards to travel to whatever country you want to travel to? These are things that you need to sit and think about. And sometimes when you do that, it becomes very easy to create a more definitive plan. However, sometimes when you're planning a goal, you realize that, okay, that's a longer term goal and I really need to create a different goal. For example, you could say, well, I want to be a doctor, and that's awesome. However, you have you don't have any college credits, no college education, you just have a high school diploma. Well, obviously, your first goal is going to be you need to go to college. And so your shorter term goal, your more immediate goal is for example, when I'm shooting this video, it is in February. So a lot of the schools that do not have open enrollment, a lot of colleges and universities that do not have open enrollment, well, it's pretty much too late for you to enroll for this coming fall. So you would need to, so if you want to start in the fall to start getting some type of credits, college credits, well, you would need to find a school with an open enrollment that would allow you to still enroll for, say, for example, like the summer or for the fall. You also have concerns of financial aid and getting that package in on time to increase your chances of being rewarded some type of financial aid to help you pay for school. These are all the things that you have to think of. So instead of having a goal of, well, I want to be a doctor by the time I'm 35 years old. Okay, a more immediate goal is maybe something like, well, I need to apply to at least 5 universities by a particular date and complete my financial aid package online and create a financial aid ID, a FAFSA ID. So that's a more immediate goal. That's a more realistic goal for the immediate, because remember, we want to create short-term goals that we can accomplish, feel good about ourselves, to keep us motivated to keep going. If your goal is too far out in the future, that's going to be hard to stay motivated sometimes, especially when life happens. And so those are things to think about. Map out all your barriers and then create a plan of how you're going to navigate around that. It's like if you're driving around in a city you've never been in and you come up to a detour, and some of these cities do this, they have a detour but they don't tell you where to go. It's like, just roadblock. I'm not from here. I need direction. Well, you have to plan for that. Like, what will I do in this situation? What will I do for A, for B, for C? And so when you plan ahead for those things, it increases your chances of success because for one, you're not going to be caught off guard when something happens, and then you're going to already have a plan in place. So I hope that helps. And if you have any questions, just leave a comment and I will be talking with you soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye.